it shouldn't be something that should take you hours to do, right? Okay. Yeah, so it shouldn't be something that will take you hours to like come up. So like the name is like the list. I've had times where I've given my projects some not too terrible names like Xton, DX, Agree for Good, all those not the aim is that your name captures what you want to do, right? So it doesn't have to be something that you have to sit down and figure out. Like, don't find a good name and then look for a suitable project for it. So yeah, before the hackathon starts, there has to be some sort of preparation so that you're not caught unawares, right? You don't have to start figuring out, oh, I need this after the hackathon has started. So first of all, research the hackathon team, especially if it's in an area you're not too familiar with. So for example, in maybe something in agriculture or something in biology, or yeah, you're not so familiar with it. So you want to first of all research the team, look at projects that people have done, just try to familiarize yourself with it. Then the next thing is, okay, now this is the team, right? What idea do I want, right? And what problem do I want to solve? So depending on the hackathon, some hackathons give you like problem statement and then ask you to provide solution, right? Some just allow you to like come up with anything. So some give you focus areas, all right, and some don't. So I think this depends on kind of hackathon it really. So depending on the hackathon, you might get those things and you might not. So they also have their pros and cons. So you being given a problem statement sort of reduce you having to think about problems, but then you have to like think of a solution to solve that problem. So there's some sort of restriction there. But having to think about anything, it could be a plus for you if you already have like a problem in mind, probably before the hackathon, and you can just find a way to sort of make it fit into the hackathon team. Then another important thing I see people skip is they don't read the rules and they don't read the guidelines. When I started actually reading the rules and reading guidelines, my perspective changed in the sense that so for example, in the guidelines, a lot of so for example, resources are being shared, like resources that would hasten and just save you a lot of unnecessary Google search, right? Resources that will just give you exactly what you want. So these are like being shared in the guidelines, like really. And sometimes even what they want, exactly what they want is usually there. So if you don't read the rules and you don't read the guidelines, you might be doing yourself more harm than good. And also in the presentation aspect, right? So you want to present according to their guidelines. Some have is particular slide format you must use. So if you do not read it, you don't know, right? And that might tamper your chances. Okay. So yeah, at the beginning of an hackathon, you're so pumped up, and yes, you're going to win this. But two, there are a couple of things. There are a couple of things you need to do when your hackathon starts, right? So now that you've defined your project, okay, I want to solve this. Probably this is what I want to do. An instance is maybe I want to help farmers. Maybe I'll solve something in agri, for example. And then my solution is around reducing third men, like third parties. So I want to create a direct link between farmers and then vendors, probably those who want to this farm produce directly. Okay, that is what my solution wants to be. Now, how do I go about that? You have to sit down and think, like, what are the processes? You're not just going to jump from this is the idea and then start coding instantly. Of course not, right? So I would actually advise that teams, your team shouldn't be one person. Okay, again, it depends on the hackathon. So sometimes I prefer to go solo if I'm very familiar with the team, like the hackathon team, and I feel like this is what I want to do. So yeah, I can go solo and yeah, I would still win. Yeah, many times I've done that. So and sometimes I can decide to work with people. So usually my advice would be that if you're trying to form a team, you don't have to necessarily form teams from your friends. It depends. For example, if you know that if you're going to work with your friends, your really good friends, you guys are just going to laugh and just joke, please don't work with them. Like, work with other set of people, right? Hackathons are usually serious times when you're like focused and then no jokes. Like work with people that if I work with these people who would actually deliver, like they are passionate and they're like-minded, they are focused, right? Don't work with people who would joke all the time and then just frustrate your work, or who would lag behind. You don't want those kind of people on your team. And then usually I prefer to work with strangers somehow, because I feel like for project-based hackathon, because not necessarily because of preference, but I really like to meet new people, right? So when I join hackathons, I really want to meet new people, and then I want to connect with these people. I want to, aside building, I also want to have fun, and then I want to meet people, expand my network. So I would prefer to work with people I do not know, and then see how we can all work together to build new teams. That's like my own preference. So you can decide to work with your friends, and on some occasions, I've actually preferred to work with my friends, especially if we are all like, if you all want to work in this hackathon, right? And then we're all aiming towards same goal, and then want to achieve the same thing. So then yeah, so that depends. And also while you're starting, please, what I always do is I always highlight goals. So I call them milestones or mini goals. So for example, I can break the project into 3 parts. So I know that my project has 3 parts. For example, I have the data, I have the AI model, and then I have the Android app. Like these are 3 major parts. So how am I going to get from data or from the problem to the Android app, which is like the end product, right? So then I draw up a roadmap. So but probably the first part is documenting the problem and then the solution. Then I write out the process. Okay, I'm first going to get data, then I build the model, then somebody works on the app and sort of incorporates the model into the app, and then build the features, and then yeah, and then I have the product. So it really depends on what project you're solving. This is just like a demo walkthrough. So I would create this I would create this roadmap. Very, very important, because it gives you direction and it helps you know when you're closer to your goal and when you've not even started seriously. So I've had to work in hackathons where you hack for 1 day and some you hack for 2 days, right? Like these are like really short times, some probably 1 week or more, and this some 3 weeks. So 3 weeks you have like time, you have time to like do a lot of experimentation, do a lot of brainstorming, and yeah. But then when you have to hack in 2 days or in 1 day, you know that you don't have so much time, and then you want to like block your calendar and then put your all in, put your focus. So what I would say is that the very first important thing is making sure that you get your idea right, because if you do not get your idea right, you find yourself going back and forth. So for example, should we put this feature? Should we not put this feature? Like, no, we should, like all those kind of debates that would be wasting time and then are unnecessary. So first of all, be clear on the problem you're solving, be clear on the solution you're providing, right? Be clear on the benefits, right? I'm doing this because of this, right? This is the benefit, and that would really define what features your hackathon, your project would have, right? And then it would also define how you're going to go about it. So rather than you going back and forth between solution and problem, you would have like an already defined stuff. But usually, even in as much as you have a clearly defined problem and solution, you still see that you have to like go back. So sometimes you go back to either refine or reapply. And this happens, this is not happening because of you don't know what you're doing, but it's happening because as you're probably building and then you're learning, you're seeing that, oh, it probably can't work like this, then I need to redefine. So that is also that would also happen. So I use Trello boards. So I list out to-do list and then assign it to people. And so once you're done, you can like move it to probably doing or done, and then I can see what's going on. I can see what remains. I can see where to come in. I know who to talk to. Okay, I can see the person that is underperforming that will most likely make us to lose, right? So it's very important to track your progress. And also I would say prioritize features and functionality. So now this is this can be a bit biased in the sense that when I say you should prioritize features, I don't mean that for example, you have this whole idea, this big idea, and then you want to build everything at once. No, you want to prioritize the basic features. What's going to get this app to work? What is going to give me the proof of concept that I need, right? So you need to define that. So that is what you want to prioritize. Like leave all the extra, maybe all the extra features. They're not needed for now. You just want to get a proof of concept, right? You want to get an MVP, something that shows, right? And usually this is usually a prototype. So it doesn't have to like work perfectly. Like sometimes you might even have to like simple features like sign up home page, and then the main thing you want to do, like literally try to like reduce it to as few pages as possible, like few stuff you have to do. So for example, if you want to like build maybe a mobile app, right? So I'll be concerned about sign up and sign in, like, and then I'll also be concerned about the home page, right? What I want it to show, and then what problem exactly am I solving? So there's a feature in that app that solves that problem. So those are the three things I'll probably be focused on. And then other things like maybe animations or all those other unnecessary stuff or other features that are not needed, I can just like discard them and prioritize the basic features. Then also stay organized. So organization is very, very important because it saves you time. Like really, it just saves you time because you know that okay, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, and then this is what remains. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. And yeah, so as an hacker, I mean in hackathons, you you tend to work for long hours, right? And sometimes that can impact your health. So I would also recommend that you rest. So depending on the length of the hackathon. So for a 2-day hackathon, right, you don't want to be sleeping 8 hours. I get that you want to be a doctor, but you definitely don't want to sleep 8 hours. And then also you take rest. So how I rest is that I probably just leave my laptop and then go for a walk or probably watch videos. I don't like watching videos if I'm stressed because looking at the screen also causes more stress. So I probably go for a walk, maybe take photos or try to write poems or try to talk to somebody, do something that is not related to the hackathon. And usually what happens is that I just think of this awesome idea that would definitely give me an edge. So when I do all those other things, like distracting my brain, something, probably a random discussion or something will just make me discover that thing that will just set my project apart from everybody else, right? So this happened recently when I was working on NASA Space Apps Hackathon. So we built something on generating space art, right, with DALI E, like diffusion models. So it was like, okay, yeah, we built this, and then okay, what is so special? What makes our own app different? So I left my laptop and then I went to do something else. And interesting enough, by the time I come back, I don't know, I think I was just checking Twitter and then I just saw something about NFTs. Oh my God, right? You can just generate images and save them as NFTs for yourself. Also, like, wow. And that was like amazing. And really, that was literally what moved my project. Like, maybe everybody. So sometimes you just need to take a break. Like, breaks are very, very important. Like, please take a break. Don't just sit down on your system 24 hours. Get rest, like at least minimum rest. And then yeah, very important. And also another thing I would like to really point out is documentation. So I know that you have it in your head, it's in your head, yeah, you get, but it will not always be in your head. A lot of things will come, your ideas change, so it's always good to have a reference where you can go back. Okay, maybe something else coming, then you need to like go back, like something like version control. So version controlling your ideas, that's very important to document everything. Like I literally have tons of Google Docs. For example, I have tons of the Google Docs for each project, and then each project has like so it starts this way. There is a problem, there's a solution, there's the methodology, there's the tools. So like I have tools that I use. So anytime I want to solve like a similar probably like another similar project, I know I know where to go to. Like, oh, I've solved this before. So I look at the tools, and that's like help me know what to use for this one. So it's very, very important to document. Extremely, extremely important. Aside the fact that it will help you know what you're doing, it will also help you with drafting out your slides. Like, very important. Like, you don't have to sit down and then start thinking of what your idea was again, or what you're trying to solve, or what your inspiration was, and yeah, and things like that. So yeah. Yeah, do not be like this. You can actually sleep like during an hackathon, but just know that you shouldn't sleep 8 hours, depending on the length of the hackathon, really. So if your hackathon is spanning for like 3 weeks, you have like time to rest. But then if you're looking at 1 day, 2 days, like sometimes you might have to like reduce the length, but then it's always good to like rest a while. Okay. So now that you've built your projects, oh, it works, right? Fine. The next thing is presentation. So probably at this time you've made your submission already, and then it's under review, and you're most likely maybe you got selected, probably top 10, top 30, and then you're going to present your solution. So this here again is another way for you to show yourself to be awesome. So it's the fact that you moved probably from everybody else to like top 30 means that there's something special about your solution, right? There's something special about what you're doing. So now you have to like bring it out. It like the old special idea is in your head, right? You have to show it to these guys. And there's a whole lot that determines that. And the first is presentation. Like, presentation is everything. You might have like a great idea, but then it is roughly presented. In fact, I might feel so irritated I maybe will not even listen to what you're saying. Like, I'm distracted with the way your slides are disorganized, right? So instead of me to listen to what you're saying, I'm trying to like create an organized version of your slides in my mind. So you don't want judges to do that. Right? So create slides, clean, simple, concise, and slides that actually talk about your day. So use in terms of colors, don't use colors that are difficult to see, right? So bright colors, like why? Use colors that makes it easy to read, right? Colors, you can even use colors that fit into your theme. So for example, you're doing agri, you want to probably use green, yellow, and those kind of related color. And then maybe you're doing something related to social, you want to look at blue or friendly stuff. Like, so look for colors that fit your theme if you don't know what colors to look at. Then of course you don't want to go to you don't want to go and present if you've not practiced. Like, practicing is very important. So please practice your pitch, practice with your teammates, practice with somebody, practice over and over until you can say it like without even looking at your slides, because you definitely don't want to be reading your slides to your judges like, oh no. And then you don't want your slides is not going to be so clogged that it's like you're reading it to me. So you want your slides to be simple, few points on it, and then these points capture the whole essence of what you're talking about. Then while you're creating your slides, make sure you focus on the problem and solution. So it is possible to get carried away. So for example, when you want to like write some statistics, maybe some statistics about the problem you're solving, it's possible for you to forget that, oh, I should let my statistics be related to the problem I want to solve, and then you just start giving random statistics. Like, of course, you do not want to do that. So make sure like while you're creating maybe your business impact, you're writing methodology, you're building your solution, you're talking about the impact, you're talking about your competitive advantage if there's need for it. You're talking about your market entry, you're talking about things like that. Please or make sure that your focus is on problem and solution. Like, what problem are you solving? How are you providing the solution? This is very, very important. And also, while you're drafting your solution, make sure that you're concise. So you don't want to like have like 2 paragraphs explaining your, like, what exactly are you saying? If you're having 2 paragraphs or even more explaining your solution, a paragraph is enough. Like 3 lines. You said what you want to do. In fact, 3 lines max. I think like it's simple. It's when you've not clearly figured out what exactly you want to do that you have like long paragraphs, and then you have texts and text that even the reader sort of finds it difficult to like understand where you're driving to. Okay. So while you're practicing, make sure that you address potential challenges and questions. Like ask yourself, what questions can judges ask me, right? Ask other people, like, okay, as me you're a judge, what would you ask me? Like, do this practice, make this part of your practice, so that when it's not like these questions might repeat themselves. They might not. But then when you're answering, you're more confident because you've like practiced. So it gives you that confidence. And then you might probably stammer, like your stammering might reduce, because when you're stammering, it might actually show that you're not confident and you're sort of scared. Like there's that nervousness in your voice. So you do not want that. You want to speak confidently and you want to own it. You want to own your solution, right? And then yeah, present your solution. So usually you present for, I think the max is 5 minutes. Sometimes I've had to present 2 to 3 minutes, like the whole slides, and then you must not exceed it. When you're even able to like state what you want to state in that 2 to 3 minutes, that's nice. That's cool, really. And then it's also important to include a demo of how your solution works. So it's not like you're not going to have like 5 minutes video showing how you're like, that is too long. So you can just have like 30 seconds video that shows how your solution works, from probably from sign up to the feature that you implement, like what's special about yours. So it's also important to while you're building, to figure out what is special, because it is really what is special about your solution that makes you stand out. Like what is special? So not just special like you're doing something different, but again, what's the impact? So there is always a judging guide, I believe. There's always a judging guide for every hackathon. So that should even help you like plan your slides. So the judging guide should plan your slide because it will give you insight on what judges are going to look at, right? What areas are going to look at, and then you should know how to work on that. Okay. Yeah. So now you've like finished your hackathon, voila. So just some tips that I think would be really, really helpful. The first is that so if you're the team leader, right, please don't do all the work alone. I've had the two-sided experience where I've had to like work alone, and then probably at the end of that hackathon, I had to use 1 week to rest because I was mentally drained. Yeah, it like just drains you because you have to do this, do this, do this. And the fact that it's overwhelming just drains you. So do not do all the work alone. Leadership is not just about getting things done, but then how do you make people do it? Like that's what leadership is like. Okay, how do you assign roles? Like how do you make people do it? So what I usually do when I start my team is I make sure everyone is motivated. So like as a leader, I already have like the end vision. Okay, this is what I want us to do, and this is what we are aiming for, right? It's like my last hackathon, I told my teammate that, hey, see, we're going to make the global finalists. Like that's just it. Like that is it. Hey, we're going to do this, and that is it. Like make sure everybody's motivated, sort of. I'm not saying you have to like share motivational videos and all, but it's like it passes down from you. Are you motivated yourself, or do you maybe you were forced or cajoled? If you were forced or cajoled to participate, please try to find reasons why you should participate, because your own motivation like can actually affect everybody else. And then when people say like, wow, this person is actually motivated, like that means it's worth putting effort in. So motivate your team before you start if you can. And another thing for why it's always good to prepare before hackathon is to have your tools ready. So usually you might not know what tools you need as you start, right? So you're starting your hackathon, yeah, you probably don't even know what you need, really. And that is fine because you're starting. But as you continue to build, you already know, oh, I need to get a prototype. I might not be able to finish building the app, but I want to make a prototype. Okay, I know this. Okay, I can use InVision, for example. Oh, I can use this. I can use this. I can use this. Right? This comes with experience. So get your tools ready. Right? You definitely don't want to be caught on this. Like not just tools for yourself, tools for your team. Right? To make sure that everything is coordinated. And then the next thing you want to do is that please do not wait till 11:50 p.m. I think that's what they call hour of the night, or I think maybe deadline hour. I can't exactly remember what they call it. But usually it's usually those times that your system just begins to freeze, and then your so tense, and then network just, does what it does. And then, yeah, and then you're disorganized. So you don't want to be in that kind of state. So please do not wait till 11:50 p.m. Like, I usually set deadlines, like by 8 p.m. we should be done with whatever we're doing. So like, whatever, it can happen that actually after 8 p.m. We have to like make some minor changes, but then I can still submit maybe max 10 p.m. right? So you do not want to fall in that 11:50 p.m. 11:50 p.m. deadline, please. It's a very risky and not friendly timeline. So please avoid it. Okay. And also, I would always advise to use templates rather than starting from scratch. All my slides have always been templates, right? So what makes you stand out is how are you creative, right? I don't have to sit down and start thinking of design from scratch when there are like templates in that field. So why do I have to sit down from scratch? So for example, I use Canva so well. So I just go to Canva, type in the theme of my hackathon, and then it gives me recommendations. So I sit down and figure out around building problem and solution. So that influences the animations on my slides, probably the images, how many pages it should be, right? So that influences all, literally. So that's why I would advise you should use templates. You don't have to design from scratch. And again, templates makes it a lot easier for you because they already have like sections. So all you just need to do is just to change it to fit your project, really. Okay. I would also recommend that your slides shouldn't be more than 16 pages. Like I don't know what you're presenting if it's more than 16 pages. So usually my slides are between 7 to 12. 7 to 12. So yeah, 7 to 12 pages. I already have like everything I want to say. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. And make sure that your slide, you have your demo on it, either in form of images or in form of video, right? So where someone going to your slides can just click on it and see. So make sure your slides carry a lot of information about your methodology. So you're not just talking about the problem solution and then the business part. Also talk about how did you go about it. That is really important in your slide. Yeah. And again, as I've said, and then I will always say, please always document your process, because while trying to build your slides, you would always want to refer to a document, and this would guide you, right? So please document everything, right? Usually I document when we've gotten to certain milestones, the challenges we face. Please, very important, document the challenges you face, document how your team went about it, right? Document everything, It's very, 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 very important, because when you're reading your slides or when you're presenting, right, you may not remember all this, but then if you read your documents before presenting, you have an idea that, oh yeah, this happened, this happened, this happened. So that is very important. Okay, and depending on the kind of hackathon. So if it's a fintech hackathon, for example, right, you want to at least have a customer or have somebody use your app, right, or website. So this can be somebody, it can be your friends, like you have friends around you have customers around you have people test it out. And the reason is because when you're telling the judges this, they know that, okay, this person has just moved beyond an idea. The person is trying to like understand how this applies, right? And that gives you an edge really over everybody else that does it. So have at least somebody use it, give you feedback, and then include this in your slide. So you don't want your slides to just be plain and just there. You want it to show that you actually put effort. So put it in your slides and say, oh yeah, we had somebody use it, and then this was like the person's journey, and then yeah, this is the acceptance rate. So for this, you definitely, probably if it's an app, you don't have to like publish it to Play Store. You can always send the APK file, or if it's a website, send the link. And another reason why you should check the guidelines is because sometimes these hackathons have partners, right? So for example, if AWS or Azure is partnering with this hackathon, you have access to credits, and then you can use these credits to build your solution. So you don't have to like think, oh, where am I going to deploy my solution? Oh, where am I going to do this? Where am I going to do that, right? So that's another reason why you should read the guidelines, read the rules, know all the resources that are available to you, right? And also I would, so a couple of you asked questions while filling the form, and I would like to address them. So yeah, if you do have questions, please ask them in the chat. I would definitely reach out to them, but I quickly want to answer the questions that were included in the form. So the first question is how to know which hackathons to participate in, and how was I able to win so many hackathons? So how do you know what hackathons to participate in? It depends on you, like, and it depends on which one you're aware of, right? So you may not want to jump on every single hackathon. So what hackathon team are you interested in? Again, so that boils down to you. So are you interested in a Greek, or even if you're not interested, you just want to explore, learn something about it? So that's something about me, right? I'm an AI person, but then I've worked in fintech, I've worked in a Greek, I've worked in a couple of other fields. So I have an idea of how things work in those areas. So it's just like a short hackathon, and then, oh, this is how fintech work, right? This is how things work. So again, it depends. Are you curious? Do you want to explore, or do you just want to stay like in where you know? Do you want to stay in your domain? Right? So and then how do you so the question was, how was I able to win? Well, I think I already gave like a background on how I was able to win too many hackathons. Okay. Then must you have a team? I would say having a team is good, really, because first of all, you don't have to worry about every single thing that happens, right? Having a team is very good because you can allocate tasks to people, and then it helps you focus on something. So it helps you focus on something. So as a team lead, for example, you can probably focus on, if you have enough skill sets, so you have someone doing software, you have someone doing other things, it can help you like focus on managing the team, right? But if you like, depending on the set of people you have in your team, so it can help you focus on a particular task, and then actually bring diverse ideas, because you'll be really surprised at the way people think. Like it just amazes me, and that's why I really like working with people, because I'm always intrigued at the way they see things from their perspective. Like it's amazing. It's really amazing. Okay. So how do I win the competition the first time as a beginner? Okay, so my first hackathon, I didn't win it because I was not, the goal wasn't really winning. The goal was to just know what is an hackathon, how does it work really. So that was my first hackathon. So my first hackathon was actually a data science hackathon. So it wasn't project based in 2019, and that was hosted by Data Science Nigeria. Yeah, so that was my first hackathon, and interesting enough, I think my first submission placed me at, I think, the second or the first on the leaderboard, even though I like dropped later, much more. But yeah, my aim wasn't really to win, but then to understand like how it worked. But then the first hackathon I won was in 2020, which was Africa Hacks. So Africa Hacks was the first hackathon I won. And at that time, I was at home during the holiday. I think it was in December. So we're on holiday, and I really wanted to do something, right? I was curious, like Africa Hacks. I just wanted to solve something. So I had a team. Yes, I had a team of strangers that I didn't know, and these strangers are now friends. So, and I really wanted to work with them, and then I also wanted to win. So I looked at the price section, like, wow, this is like a lot of money, and then a lot of credits and stuff. So like that was like part of my motivation to participate and then to win. So like everybody wants to win, but some take it more serious than others. And yeah, and another thing to ensure is that you're fair in your approach. So because I want to win, I wouldn't do it in a way that it will affect another team or so. No. Like, oh no. Okay. So someone is asking, did I become a 6-time winner? Well, I didn't have like I didn't win 6 times at once. The first three was like a roll. So the first three hackathons that I won the first, second, third, like on a roll, and then the others were like subsequently later. So how did I win? Well, participating, by first participating and then wanting to win, I guess. But yeah, following the methods or tips I gave, that was how I was able to win. So someone is asking, how is it to participate in an hackathon? It's pretty easy, depending on the level of hackathon. So like there are different kinds of hackathons. So the first of all is you want to check if you're able to do it. Like, is it something you can apply your skill to? Is it something you have an idea about? Some hackathons are like pretty advanced, so probably you don't want to go there. And then some are just like perhaps beginner friendly, some intermediate friendly, and some maybe not, maybe like for experts, I guess. Okay, so someone said, what skills do you look out for when choosing your teammates, and how much of technical knowledge plays a role in being an hackathon? Okay, so again, depending on the goal of the hackathon, right? You have to be sure, is it an ideathon or not? So if it's an ideathon, you probably don't need too many technical people, since you're just here to form ideas. But if it's an hackathon where you need to build something, so yes, there must at least be a technical guy on the team. So probably you as a team leader, you probably do not have technical skill, that's fine. But then somebody has to be technical on the team, right? So you don't have to be technical to participate in an hackathon, depending on the kind of hackathon it is. So for example, if it's something in fintech, if you have an idea of how finance and public business work, you can definitely join a team. And then, yeah, you don't have to have the technical skill, but then somebody on the team must have a technical skill because it's an hackathon. Then, so how do you practice for hackathons? Is it practice per se? So you practice by participating, I guess. So your first hackathon is you're probably not aiming to win, but aiming to see how it works, and then see how you're able to, like, what are you able to commit to it, what is needed, right? What is it like? What's the tree? What's the challenge like? Right. So someone is asking, why do I think we don't have more agricultural startups? I think my question to this person would be, why do you think there are not more agricultural startups? If the person is asking the question in relation to hackathons, that is, why are there no more agricultural hackathons? I would say it's you that don't know about those hackathons. So not like they are not. There are like literally a lot of hackathons. And then when you participate in some, you tend to know more about others. Or when you just go to Google and then like probably current hackathons and all. So you can always research that. So it's more like an information about knowledge. And then yeah, that's what I would say. So I wouldn't say there are less agricultural startups or not more, because how do you know there are no more? Okay. Someone is asking, if you're new into tech, how can you participate in hackathons? Well, you can, depending on your tech skill, look for a team that needs probably the skill that you have, and then hoping that's how you can participate, or form a team and then find other guys that have the skill that you don't have. So someone is asking, do I need a laptop to participate in an hackathon? Depending on the kind of hackathon, I would say no. If you're technical, perhaps. If you're not, if you're not technical, you probably don't need a laptop, since you might be contributing, maybe just contributing ideas and all. So someone is asking, how do I prepare for hackathons? What was my implementation strategy and idea generation like? Was I familiar with the project before participating in the hackathon? Well, what I would say is that for some hackathons, I already have like an interest in studying something an area in this field for the hackathon. Like the circular plastic economy hackathon, I already like wanted to use AI in helping with plastic waste already. So I already had that interest. So when I saw this hackathon, like, wow, this is a good way for me to like demonstrate this skill, right? By having experts give me feedback and advice, like learning from mentors and all. And another thing I would say is, if in your hackathon you're given the opportunity to meet a mentor, please do meet a mentor, right? Because you really don't know beyond just hackathons, right? You can also meet people who might be your next referrals, right? So hackathons are not just about winning prizes alone, but then like meeting people, making connection, building network, and that has always been part of my goal when I participate in hackathons. Okay. So my implementation strategy, I already highlighted that is where I make sure I have a product roadmap, right, end to finish, and then I have timelines. I have my tasks already outlined before I even start, and then make sure that I give everybody tasks and then follow them up, right? So make sure that everybody's accountable, make sure that everybody's motivated, make sure that everybody is organized, because that is very important, and making sure that there is a documentation of every single process. Okay. I will take just two more questions. So someone is asking, how do I get unique ideas for an hackathon? What are the specifics that can help in winning aside building? Okay. How do you get ideas? Well, I think there are a lot of things to this. So if you do not already have like an idea, then it could be from you brainstorming, do your research, right? Try to see what people have done, like try to see what have been done, try to see the current challenges. You can just Google what are the challenges in these areas. Try to see if somebody has tried to approach it, and then get an idea from that. If you yeah, and then what are the specifics that can help you? I mentioned presentation, right? So it's not all my hackathons that I've had to actually code it out. So sometimes there's probably no time for me to code. Then I build a prototype that shows, probably that has the app screen and then shows how it's supposed to work, right? I use InVision for that. So InVision is a very good prototyping software. I love it. So I will just record my screen, and then it shows me probably typing and all the kind of stuff. So like you don't, probably not every time that I've had to like build this app or build this website. Sometimes I just use prototyping tools, and then I still want, like I use that for one of the agri hackathons, and I still won, despite the fact that I didn't even build an app. I just built a prototype, and yeah, that works. Okay. So someone is asking the last question. What is the Microsoft Student Learn Ambassador Program, and how can I be a part of this? Okay. So this is not directly related to hackathon, but that's about the community. So the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador is a program for students, either bachelor's, master's. So where you get to build skills, like leadership skills, right? You get to build public speaking skills, communication skills, a lot of skills. You also get first-hand involvements in tech, right? Get to leverage Microsoft. Yeah, okay. So you get to leverage Microsoft tech, leverage yeah, all of Microsoft tech, get access to public speaking opportunities, and a lot. Like for me, I'm actually a good Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, and it's been exciting so far. I've had to speak at global stages. Currently organizing an hackathon. So if you do want to sign up, let me see if I can share the link. So if you do want to sign up, the community is organizing an hackathon. So for anyone who's interested, I will share the link. So it's a program. I think you can let me share the link to the program on the group. Just a sec, I'm trying to dig it out. Just a sec. Thank you. Yeah, so the first link I'll be sharing is the link to the community hackathon. Okay, community hackathon. Okay. So the link I'm sharing is the first link to the community hackathon. Then the second link is to the ambassadors. So for if you're a student on this call and you like to be part of the Microsoft Lesson ambassadors, like this is a great opportunity for you. So yeah, sent it to the link already, to the group already, so you can check it out on how to join the student ambassador program. Yeah, it's been exciting. Yeah, of course there are swags and not kind of stuff, but it's way more than that. There's a whole lot of support for you as a student ambassador. Okay. If you do have questions, please can raise up your hand. You can drop it in the chat. I can see one question in the chat. and that is how to deal with disagreements, especially with strangers. This is a very, very valid question, because if you had to participate in an hackathon before, right, you don't know this person, and then it definitely you guys would argue at some point, right? You guys would have to like have some disagreement. Maybe someone is thinking this way, and then you don't want it this way, and then the person wants it this way. So how I've approached it is this: if I see that I have a vision, right? I have what I want to do, and then your suggestion is not necessarily aligning to it, I can let you go and then form a new team, right? It's a different thing when the person is seeing something from maybe like a different perspective, right? So like there are times where it's just a matter of perspective. So in that way, you can make the person to see, or like you first of all make sure like you're open. So the issue is that some people just believe they are only right, like everybody else does not know it, like I'm the only one that is right. No, you have to be very open to ideas, open to other people's perspectives, even if it doesn't make sense, right? Even if it doesn't make sense to you, please be open to people's perspective, be open to listen. Like being in an hackathon, working with strangers means that you've had to relate with people. You have to like talk with some people are very rude. Some people are, like you can always report them if you feel like if they break the rules, like probably harassing you or using um um all sort of words that are abusive, you can actually report them, right? Not everybody I've worked with are actually good, sort of good mannered. Some people are just terrible, like, and it's good to know when to just cut it. Like if it's too late for you to for example, if it's already too late for you to maybe find a new member, you can just let the person go and then you do on your own. So it's better if you work alone than to work with a terrible person. Like, so I would just say that um first of all, be open to perspective, because people will definitely not always see things from your perspective. So it's not how do you convey it to them, right? Be empathic, right? And listening to people, understanding that you guys have different backgrounds, you have different experiences, and that's supposed to bring the beauty to your presentation and bring the beauty to your project. Okay. Community. Usually what I would say is that is there something like a good team when you're forming it? Except you're forming a team with your friends. You can't tell if a team is good from the start. But then how are you able to engage everybody, that even someone who is not motivated becomes motivated? Like that is leadership. It's how are you able to lead them, how able to drive everybody to do this. Like you have to like know that. So getting a good team, it's not always you're lucky to get highly motivated people. But sometimes you have to like bring that motivation and then get everybody working together and thinking together with you, right? Okay. Someone is asking, how do we deal with judges? I think judges are like the least of your problems. There might be issues where you're presenting something that might be controversial. Yeah, so your idea or standpoint might be controversial, because you know that judges are experts. So it's like you as probably a novice, not necessarily novice, probably intermediate. You're trying to present to experts, people who are experts, right, in this field. Yeah, it definitely can be intimidating. Like, what if they say is wrong? What if they say it cannot work? So it's more like, how do you present this? Sometimes you might be presenting something that is wrong, like that cannot even work, but the way you present it really matters. So it's not really a matter of, okay, this might work, this might not work. Like, how do you present it? So that's how I would say you should deal with judges. So make your presentation awesome. Avoid controversial issues or discussions. Like, if you know that probably what you're building, there can be something that might bring out controversy, so stop, avoid it, so that you avoid questions in that direction. So yeah, sort of avoid it. Or if it's not avoidable, make a point that directly backs up what you're doing, so that if the person is bringing an opposition, it sees that the opposition doesn't align with like your project, so it's going to be off. So the person won't even bother asking, since it doesn't align with it. So try to avoid controversial points, and then if they're not avoidable, bring a point that either comes as a middle ground or enforces your idea, and at the same time the opposition doesn't negate your own. Yeah. Okay, someone is asking, where can I get hackathon opportunities? Many places, from communities. Yeah. If you've participated in hackathon before, they might add you to their mailing list. From being part of communities within network, like social media, different places, you can actually see hackathons. Yeah. And again, if you would, you can also be part of the Microsoft Learn Ambassadors OU community. So then we share like tons of opportunities. So that's also a good place to find hackathons, because communities host hackathons at times. So someone asked me to share tools I use for hackathons. Okay, like I have Figma, I have InVision, I have I can code in Java, and I can write Android apps, build Android apps. So and then depending if the solution needs AI or not, right? It's not every time it needs AI. So then I have my API, probably like Fast API, for example. Okay, perhaps I will need to deploy something, maybe deploy a server or deploy something. And if in the hackathon, right, probably they have partners like Microsoft or Azure or any partner that is giving credits, I would learn how to use their platform. How can I use it? Because sometimes you get to win when you win certain prices for just integrating a platform into your solution. So learn how to use the platform integrated. And then I use Trello to manage my tasks, and then GitHub to host the projects. And what else? I think that's like what I can think on top of my head. This one is asking, how can we get the guidelines for the community hackathon? Okay. Guidelines, you can get guidelines from it's always shared. It's probably the hackathon website, or in an e-format or a document, depending on how they share their hackathon information to you. So don't always be in a hurry to just read and then go. Like, stay and understand, read to the end, understand everything in that document, understand terms and conditions. Because there was a time I actually didn't participate in hackathon because I felt like terms and conditions, I can't fulfill them, right? So the hackathon required that whatever I like at that time, whatever idea I give, I'm giving the third party the ability to take that idea and implement it. Like, I'm giving my consent to that. And I was like, no way. I don't want to do that. So it's really important for you to read terms and conditions. Very, very important. Like, please read terms and conditions for you participate in the hackathon and be sure that you're comfortable with it, right? And someone is asking if I give a brief explanation of what an hackathon is all about. So an hackathon is a short-paced event where you want to build a solution. So you're building a solution to solve a problem in a short frame of time. That's what an hackathon is. And then you're doing this with you can do this solo, yourself alone, or you do this with a couple of people who you call teammates. So now this is that's what an hackathon is. And then it's usually challenging. So like there's the thrill, there's the chill, there's the snacks if it's physical, right? There's snacks, and then there's music. Like, there's this aura that just goes with hackathon where you just want to give everything in for the prize, right? Which could be cash or swags or whatever it is. Really. So that's what an hackathon is. Okay. Eminence is raising his hand. You can ask a question.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm the one that asks about the guidelines for the community hackathon. And the community hackathon I'm talking about is like the one you shared the link, like the guidelines for the hackathon and what the hackathon is about, like the social community hackathon, you shared the link. Yeah, so do you get my point?
Oh, okay. Oh, for that. Yeah, I do. Oh, you're talking about the Social for Good hackathon. Okay. Yeah, the guidelines will be out soon, and the hackathon has started. So yeah, it will definitely be out before before the hackathon starts. So yeah, don't worry, all that will be shared. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Any questions, any contributions, anything you'd like to share? I already dropped links to yeah, I already dropped links to the hackathon on the page. So if you've not signed up, please sign up, right? I'm sending it again. Sign up for the hackathon. It's an interesting one. Everyone who signs up for the hackathon also joins the community. So as part of signing up for the hackathon, you get a link to the community page, and then yeah, you get to sign up. Okay. Yeah, Abaya, we can ask you a question.
Okay, good evening. Thanks for the section. What I want to ask is, what is really the difference between the committee for the hackathon and the speaker? Like, can one sign up for the two, or is quite different from one another? That's what I want to ask.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So the community is also having a call for speakers. So that is for hackathon participants. So you can sign up as a speaker, and then if you want to participate in the hackathon, you're free. The only people that cannot participate in the hackathon are those who are volunteering. So if you're volunteering, it's not advisable to participate in the hackathon because you most likely would not have time to present your solution as you would be like being engaged while everybody else is just mentioned. So yeah, you can sign up if you're a speaker. Yeah. Okay, someone is asking if the community helps students learn AI and machine learning. Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So resources are being shared almost every day on how to learn data science, how to learn AI, ChatGPT-3. This is the Microsoft community, so yes, yeah, you can learn how to use ChatGPT-3 and all the cool AI stuff, definitely. Um, Nobody else has any question? Okay, so if there are no more questions, I would not like to take any more of our time. Thank you all for joining today. Right, I really appreciate your presence. And if you do have more questions, you can ask on the community page. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.